Welcome back to the Resilient Tourism podcast series, brought to you by EHL Hospitality Business School. This podcast is part of the Resilient Tourism Project, funded by InnoSuisse through the flagship program. Digital transformation isn't just about technology, it's about fostering deeper human connections. In Season 3, we explore High Tech for High Touch with leading experts and innovators, where we ask ourselves the following question: how can we balance technology and human touch in hospitality and tourism, where people are key to success? In today's episode, Maggie Chen is joined by her colleague, Dr. Reza Etemad. Reza is a full professor at EHL with expertise in computer science and management. In addition to his academic role, he works with companies to enhance their marketing strategies, with a particular focus on optimizing the customer experience. Reza brings a wealth of knowledge in digital transformation and human-computer interaction, making him a valuable resource in these rapidly evolving fields.
Hello everyone, welcome to our flagship podcast series. Today our guest is Professor Reza Etemad from École Hôtelière de Lausanne EHL Hospitality Business School. Reza, can you please introduce yourself to our audience?
So hello Maggie, thank you for the invitation. So I'm, as you said, a professor at École Hôtelière of Lausanne. I studied at EPFL, computer science, until 2004. Then I did a PhD in management at University of Neuchâtel. And finally, I started in 2010 my career as a professor at EHL.
Excellent. Reza, we want to know something you are proud of, but it's not on your CV or on your LinkedIn.
Something that I am proud of, I would like to say it's the time that I spend with the family and with my children. This is what I am really happy. Yeah.
Very
I'm proud.
good. Very, very good. Very beautiful. And it is a very good beginning to lead to our conversation today, because you are an expert in computer science, but you are also an expert in service marketing. And we know that your research is about human-machine interaction. So today we are going to start our question with, what is high tech in our industry? Can you give examples of the evolution of high tech over the years? And what will be high tech 5 years from now? And how do we prepare for the transformation?
Mm-hmm. Of course, the most important challenge, if we put ourselves in a position of a service-oriented company, would be to identify how to optimize the number of touch points required that should be digital and the number of touch points that has to be in face-to-face. And for me, high tech is talking about that. It's to keep in mind putting ourselves in the shoes of our clients and asking ourselves for each segment of the clients that we have, what would be the ideal touch points that can be covered by the technology and the key touch points that should stay in an interaction between humans.
This is very interesting point of view. Normally when people think about high tech, they think about AI, generative AI, or virtual reality. But they never express in a way like what you said. How many touch points should be digitalized? How many should be remain face-to-face?
Absolutely, because in my answer, I really try to put myself in the shoes of our clients. We are teaching marketing, we are teaching the customer experience, and that's why even if we are using tools such as AI, generative AI, or augmented reality, etc., it's always considered from the point of view and the vision of the client, and that's why I'm talking about touch points.
Very good. Excellent. Because in a way that augmented reality is also a touch point.
Absolutely. For example, if you want to organize your holidays and you have the opportunity to visualize how would be your holidays, and that's why some companies can use these kind of technologies for making you feel what would be your holidays in the future.
Very good.
So that's why for me it's a touch point.
Yes, you are right. So now we want to turn to the other side. So we say high touch or human touch. Can you give examples of the evolution of high touch over the years? What will be high touch in our industry 5 years from now?
For me, I think the most important thing to keep in mind is for a service-oriented company is to have a reflection, how can we create a connection with our guests? How can we also generate this emotional attachment? And we can imagine that during these years, we are talking a lot about AI. At the same time, these solutions will be used by all the different stakeholders. And that's why for a company who wants to generate an advantage compared to the others, it's not the usage of AI, it's the opportunity in parallel to the usage of AI, how they have been their ability to generate an attachment with their guests. And for me, this is the touch that would be, of course, relevant for our industry. And that's why more and more we see that we are working at EHL on bringing hospitality in other industries.
I agree with you. Now my question is, how do we create a connection? Because high touch, human touch, is about making a connection and create an emotional experience. So how can we do the connection?
A very interesting question. Of course, the creation of the connection for me would be first, the most important criteria would be the empathy. It's how our ability to really be able to personalize the experience of our guests. So this is, for me, crucial. Empathy, the first one. The second would be the values, of course, that we represent. And it's important to guarantee that we are in a context of co-creation with our guests. The more we co-create, we talk about the notion of made in customers. So the more the customers are also involved. I even don't like to say that we are talking about our customers. I would like to say we are talking about our partners. We should consider our clients as our partners. And with this vision from my side, I think we have this ability to generate this connection and this emotional attachment with our guests.
I agree with you about co-creation and treating our customers as partners and empathy. My question is, talent shortage is serious in our industry. So how do we help our employees to understand that customers want empathy and they want co-creation? And how do you see employees' role change over the years? Because to co-create, I think employees need to do something differently from in the past. They just serve the customers.
Absolutely right. And that's why very frequently I talk about the metaphor in my class and I compare a service environment as a piece of theater. And of course, from the employees, if they have to show an empathy, they cannot change. They should have this, I would like to say, this specific, behavior in themselves. It's as the feeling that we can feel when an actor is on stage. So it's very difficult to play a role. So it means that it's important to really ask ourselves, as when we want to work in the hospitality industry, is it really an industry where I can really express myself and be in contact with my guests? I should like to do that. It's not something that I can try to show my empathy. I really have to have it with me if I want to be client-oriented. So this is something very important for me. And I would like to say the second point in terms of the change of habits and also tasks for the employees would be to have a reflection about the painful touch points that we have currently and the way that technology can come and support these painful tasks.
I agree with you. I think what you mentioned about think about theater. This is related to the experience economy. They also mention about this. And I really like what you say about employees should think about themselves as they are on stage. This is part of experience economy literature as well. However, I think if people think they are on stage, they probably feel better about themselves as well. You know, when you are just a service provider versus you are on stage, the social status, the recognition from the guest are different.
Absolutely right. So it's important really to of course to valorize the employees, and also finally at the end, what would be our added value compared to the machine? It's our faculty to show the empathy. So that's why I think this is really the challenge in terms of recruitment, guaranteeing that the people that we want to work for our institution or for our brand are really representing these values.
Very good. So my next question is, should every business aim for high tech, high touch? What factors should companies consider when deciding their strategy?
I think it's really important, again, to put ourselves in the shoes of our clients first. What are their expectations? Second, to identify the different clusters of clients that we have, because the level of expectations can vary according to their profiles. Some of our clients can expect a lot of digitalization and they don't really like to have a human touch, and some others completely the contrary. So that's very important to listen the evolution of our guests, and also to guarantee that we can train our guests on the usage also of new technologies. So this is something crucial to consider.
Then another question. What will you never use technology to replace with?
I will never use technology to replace, for example, for generating music. I like music. I compose myself several songs. So for me, when I hear sometimes that this song has been generated by a machine, I am very sad. It's something that it really touched me, because I cannot imagine that even if I can find the song interesting, I am sad to have this feeling that the machine generated. So I would like to say this is something very crucial for me. And then the other dimension that I would never replace the machine would be again showing the empathy, because I know that a machine cannot really have a real empathy. So this is also something that I will never use the machine for that.
I want to say, in my personal experience, you are very good at music. I am terrible about painting. So that's why I use ChatGPT to paint, generate pictures or photos. And I start to think, maybe this is how people use generative AI. Experts, you have your standard. You know the quality. You will not appreciate music generated by AI. But amateur people like me, since I cannot paint, so when I see pictures created by ChatGPT, I was happy, And I wonder, in a few years, will people still value the difference between man-made and machine-made?
I can also, of course, understand that people use ChatGPT for generating image, and I also do it myself. At the same time, if I was a photographer, I assume that I couldn't use this kind of technology. So in my case, it's the music. That's why I cannot imagine having AI generating music.
Another thing related to what you just said. We know that now there are apps providing psychological support. And the content is again generated by generative AI. And I think for me, that is even harder than just seeing machine creating a photo. Because in that case, they are trying to provide a cheap alternative for counseling.
Absolutely. So this is also for me the limitations.
Yeah.
And also I think we have a responsibility for the next generations because they spend too much time in front of a computer or of a screen, and that's why I think it's completely wrong to think that these solutions can replace real people who can deal and also listen, being here for finding a solution to your problems.
I agree. So basically, conclusion is creativity and empathy should not be replaced by technology.
Absolutely, because I have the feeling, when we compare a product versus a service, how people can be emotionally attached to a product versus a service. Of course, we can feel a lot of time. We see with Apple, it's a brand where people can feel an attachment, even if it's a product. But for a service, it's different. The service, when you're connected with the service, the technology has never been the dimension who impacted this emotional attachment. The emotional attachment in the service context has always have been people.
I agree with you, because recently I was looking at some research, and they want to evaluate implementing new technology into the service process, and what do people think about it. And it's very interesting that whenever people say something nice about the transformation, they always talk about the service, the human part. And technology is never the key point. So that echo with what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the next question is this. How can business effectively deliver high tech, high touch? What do you think about it? Is success more about having high tech tools or high touch?
Of course, it depends each context, each industry, each company, the industry. But I think the most important thing here is to asking ourselves the question: what are the painful situations that we have? And then when we try to identify the different tasks for each profile of our employees, trying to see if the technology and more generally AI can support these repetitive tasks or difficult tasks or not. This is one side, so the usage of the technology. And then the other side is always to have in mind the customers, as I said, or the partners' expectations for putting, I would like to say, having the ideal balance. It's the challenge would be for me the optimization of finding the best place of the balance between the two dimensions, instead of maximizing the usage of technology, or in reverse, maximizing, if it depends the context. But I think it's finding the idealist balance between the two sides would be excellent.
Excellent. Then, even though you have already told us about the key point is first try to figure out the pain points in the customer journey, and the second one is to think about customers' expectation. Now, can you offer specific suggestions for SME companies?
Yes, of course. I think for SMEs, the most important challenge would be first how to deal with data. This is something very important because we can imagine that we have a lot of different databases. We work with our ERP, with our CRM. So we have different systems we have to interact. And the first challenge would be how can we centralize the data that we have? This is the first thing. The second thing, of course, is to identify the painful touch points, and then trying to see how and which technology can be a solution, not only for our clients, but also for our employees, for our partners, for improving the collaboration between different departments. So I would like to say the data would be first the challenge. Of course, all the ethical questions linked to collecting the data, how to deal with this data, how to guarantee privacy, security, etc. And also at the same time, the notion of replacement. How, for being always, I would like to say, guaranteeing that the technology will not replace our employees, but it will adjust the tasks and the activities of our colleagues and the employees. So this is also something important to consider.
Very good. In the future defined by high-tech, high-touch, what new competencies will hospitality and tourism professionals need? How can the industry attract and retain talents to join and lead the transformation for high-tech, high-touch?
I think we need people who first can have the ability of showing the real interest for their clients. Second, I think we need people who have the ability to educate our guests on the usage of these technologies. So it's very important to guarantee that even our colleagues, our employees who are in front of the clients have the ability for showing how to use each device or how to interact with a robot, for example, service robot. So these are for me the evolution of the activities required in our industry.
Very good. Now, Reza, is there anything I didn't ask but you want to share with our audience?
No, the only thing I can say that I am very happy to have you as a colleague at EHL, and we can with pleasure continue to talk about it and working together on future projects.
Yes. Just for your information, dear audience, Reza's office is right next to my office. So we are actually neighbors. So Reza, thank you very, very much for your time and your insight. And we also want to thank audience for your attention. And we will see you in our next podcast.
Thank you very much, Maggie.
Thank you for being with us today. If you liked this conversation, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for the next episodes of the flagship Resilient Tourism podcast series.